here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
I feel it.
Today, I am wearing a different version of Kawhi Leonard's by New Balance. These are called the Jolly Ranchers. These were sent to me as a gag gift by my friend Lil Wayne, who's, of course, a Laker fanatic. And they were intended to poke fun at Kawhi Leonard and to maybe even ridicule the Clippers who live in the basement at Staples Center. But today, the joke is on the Lakers because the Clippers somehow came back from the 0-2 down dead, while the Lakers simultaneously had a 2-1 lead over Phoenix, and they are on vacation while the Clippers are about to win the West and win the NBA. Thank you, Shannon Sharpe.
You do know how TV works, right?
Woo!
They just saw you throw Kawhi shoes away the other day.
Yes.
These are my other ones, my gag gift. I still got them. I'm
so
good to go.
We're not throwing them anytime soon. You are
I
wearing
ain't never
those.
seen a bandwagon like this.
Woo! So, Shannon, what is the biggest reason the Clippers came back and won the series?
Well, Skip, the last two games, Kawhi Leonard was sensational. He was unbelievable. He was phenomenal. And we know in big moments like this, and when you must have it, your superstars must come to the forefront. But this was all about the role players. If you go back Friday night, Skip, Reggie Jackson got off to that roaring start, and he rode along with Kawhi. Now, Paul George, the last two games, Skip, he didn't shoot the ball well. He was 6 of 15 Friday night, and he was 5 of 15 last night. But he did other things. One game, he had 13 rebounds. Yesterday, he had 10 assists. He said, so you know what? I might not have it scoring. I might not be as efficient as I normally am, but I'm going to do other things to help this team win. But when you go back, Skip, yesterday, it was all about Marcus Morris Sr. Skip, he tied Steph Curry for the most three-point shots in a Game 7 with 7. Let that sink in for just a second. Marcus Morris Sr. tied Steph Curry, the greatest shooter, the greatest three-point shooter, for the most threes in a Game 7. You got also Paul George had 22, Reggie Jackson 15. Terrence Mann came in off the bench, Skip, 13 big points in the first half. Luke Kennard, who had 3 DMPs, he came in and contributed, and that's what you needed. For me, and this is why I told you, Skip, we had the conversation on Friday. What do you think happens when we come back in? I say, I believe the Clippers will win. I'm not worried about Luka Doncic. I know what Luka's going to give me. He's going to be spectacular. But is Davis, is Finney-Smith coming along? Is Hardaway Jr. coming along? And Skip, don't mention the unicorn. I don't want to hear that. If somebody mentioned Kristaps Porzingis, there's nothing unique about him. He's 7'3". He plays like he's 6'3", and all he wants to do is shoot three-pointers. Skip, the tallest guy on the Clippers were what? Kawhi, say 6'8". They're playing behind him. Nicholas Batum, 6'8", playing behind him. Paul George, and he wants to hover around on the perimeter. Bro, get your big, tall, lanky butt down on the block and turn around and shoot the ball over the top of him. Yesterday, Finney-Smith and Luka was 9 of 18 from 3. Everybody else not named Luka or Finney-Smith was 1 for 18. In a situation like this, Skip, we talk about this a lot in football because that's what we do. I say, what's the true measure of a team? Be good offense or defense? Can you do what you need to do when you have to do? If you're the number one offense, when you need a first down, when you need a touchdown or field goal, can you go get it? If you're the number one defense, can you shut someone down? The Clippers went back. What were they all year long, Skip? The best free throw shooting team. Perfect. 24 for 24. What were they? Three-point. Highest three-point percentage team. 20 of 43. That's how you won the ball. That's how they won the ball game. But, Skip, Kawhi was unbelievable. Almost one rebound short of a triple-double. But it was the role players. Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard. Those were the difference because Luka canceled out Paul George and Kawhi. Now he needed 1 or 2 guys to come along with him, and he didn't get it yesterday. But Luka was spectacular, but that's why the L.A. Clippers won, is because the role players came along with Kawhi.
Okay, my turn. I was wrong about being wrong about the Clippers, but in the end, 2 wrongs somehow made a right because I was initially right about picking the Clippers to win not only this series, but I believe I'm going to be right about them winning the West and getting to the finals. I believe I'm going to be right about them winning the finals. What has Jeff Van Gundy said repeatedly on ABC? The Clippers are the most talented team in the West. That's what he says, in the West. I have told you all year, they're the deepest team in professional basketball. So all about the role players, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're deep. You were ridiculing Luke Kennard. Where is he? He makes whatever it is, $15 million.
Yeah,
well, guess what? He rose at Joan yesterday.
Yes.
Did he not come up big in big moments when they really needed him to make a three here or there, make a defensive play, a stop, a steal? They are so deep, it's scary. They have not played DeMarcus Cousins a bit. I'm going to guess that he'll play more in the next series. Ibaka still has a bad back. I thought he was going to be a big contributing factor, and maybe he will be at some point in the next series or, if possible, the next series. But let me say that these Clippers are simply the most frustrating, maddening team I have ever picked or rooted for in my career. There's never been anything like what the Clippers did to me over the last couple of weeks when they took about 7 years off my life. I want everybody to understand just what a hole they were in. They lost the first two games at home. They were down 30-11 2 Friday nights ago at Dallas before a packed house at the end of COVID, a packed house. Seemed like nobody was wearing masks except the players and the coaches. And it featured the packed house, Dak Prescott in the first row and Michael Irvin up in one of the boxes. And it was madness in that arena in American Airlines. And if you're down 30-11 in a game 3 on the brink of devastation and elimination, because if they fall down 0-3, what's going to happen? They're not going to come back from that. And suddenly, the Mavericks are still making threes in the second half. The Mavericks that night made 23 pointers on that Friday night in the third game.
Right.
No team in the history of the NBA has ever made 23s and lost a home playoff game. Never happened before. And it happened that Friday night. And I will tell you the truth, I'm pretty good at analyzing box scores. I still can't make it compute in my head how somehow the Clippers won that game. But they did. And they came back in game 4, and they pretty much blew the Mavericks off the floor. That was really the only
blowout game.
That was the blowout game. And then they came home, and you know what that did to me? That might have taken 12 years off my life, because at home, they crumbled down the stretch with the weight of the NBA world on their shoulders, because everybody knows the Clippers are the stepchildren in the basement at Staples. And what did they do right on schedule? They came apart like Clippers always come apart. They choked and they gagged and they crumbled. And there were a lot of unforced errors. And at the end of the game, what happened? Kawhi Leonard winds up shooting an air ball from the corner. The same Kawhi who had made a 7-bounce three-point shot up on the rim to win the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously, over the Philadelphia 76ers with the last second shot.
That might have been the only bad shot. Kawhi took the whole series.
That's what I'm saying. That same guy then bounced back in Game 6 at Dallas. This was another shocker. I'm going to remind you, in Game 6 this past Friday night, I lost 5 cases of Diet Dew because I said the Mavericks will close it out tonight. You were correct. I think you were just trying to jinx me, but that's okay. But the point is, you admitted at the end of the show you were trying to jinx me, but the point was the Mavericks were up 4 at home going to the fourth quarter. And guess what Kawhi Leonard did in the fourth? He went 5 for 5 and 2 of 2 from 3 and scored 12 points. Guess what Paul George did in the fourth quarter? He scored 8 points. Pandemic P, who knew? So your two big guns for the visiting team, the Clippers, scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, and they won the fourth quarter 31-20. They locked down and locked in and locked up on defense. And all of a sudden, right on schedule, Luka disappeared again. He had a couple of garbage baskets at the end, but in the clutch time moments, he was not there for his team.
If you notice what Ty Lue did, Ty Lue blitzed Luka, got the ball out of his hands. So I'll live with anybody else making it. But for some reason, Rick Carlisle let Kawhi operate one-on-one. Why wouldn't you blitz him? Why wouldn't you double him to take the ball out of his hands? It says, okay, Reggie Jackson, okay, Marcus Smart Sr. If someone else, you see he had it going, Skip. He couldn't miss.
Couldn't miss. So let's go to Game 7. Again, weight of the world on the Clippers' shoulders because they had lost all 3 home games. I honestly, truly, from my heart of hearts, from the depths of my soul, I did not believe the Clippers would win yesterday because there are too many demons. That they hadn't been able to sniff a win against the Mavericks in Staples. And remember, they have been all-time horrible in early afternoon starts on the weekend in Staples. You can go back several years and look at their record, but just how about this year? They were going into yesterday 1-3 in those noontime starts at Staples on a Saturday or a Sunday. Well, this out here in the Pacific time, as you know, was a 12:30 start. Usually they sleepwalk for a while, and you can argue they sleptwalked at the first of this game because the Mavericks came right out hot. Luka's bombing threes, shooting them up into the rafters, rainbows that come completely out of the rafters. There's nothing up in the rafters for the Clippers, right? And then it comes straight down and swishes. He was swishing, bombing threes in the first half, and it looked like the Mavericks were about to take control, and then the Clippers had a little surge at the end of the half and went up 8.
Right.
And what did I tweet at halftime? You can look it up on my timeline. I predicted correctly that the 8-point lead would quickly turn into a 5-point Dallas lead. Check it out. And guess what happened? I nailed it. 8 points went to -5 points immediately in the third quarter. So Dallas is up 5 with, what was it, like 7 minutes left, I think, in the third quarter. And let me get my sheet out here. And then here came the Clippers. They go on a 30-6 run. And that run started with a Marcus Morris 3, and again, he was sensational. And
he played 2 good games, Skip. He played 3 in Game 7. Okay. That's when he needed it.
And that was off of Paul George's assist. And then Paul George got to the free throw line and made a couple of free throws. And then if we could see the Kawhi dunk with 5:43 left in the third quarter, this is the Kawhi dunk. This is when they seized the lead for good. Boom. That was huge because it really rocked the crowd right past Boban and right past your guy Porzingis. And it somehow sent everyone into a frenzy that they never relinquished.
Right.
So the point was, over that stretch of 30-6, that's 9 minutes and 33 seconds. Over that stretch, your man Luka scored a grand total of 4 points on 2 of 7, 0 of 3 from 3, and he missed both his free throw attempts. So he was not there when they really needed him most.
He missed a couple of bunnies, Skip. And I think the thing is that Luka started getting – they played him 45 minutes. Remember, on Friday night, they played him like 43 minutes. Skip, it's hard for him because the difference is like Kawhi can take turns on the ball. Paul George can take turns on the ball. Reggie Jackson can take turns on the ball. Luka, Skip, for whatever reason, Jalen Brunson and Trey Burke did not play well in this series. They had been sensational all year.
Jalen Brunson had some stretches in the first 2 games.
But, Skip, after that, he became unplayable. Rick Carlisle wanted to go to him, and right away, he going back, Luka, come here, I need you. And so that's what happened.
Remember, Jalen Brunson's 6'1".
Yes.
So he plays big, but he's little.
But, Skip, they didn't need him to do – they just needed him to give Luka a break, to take off the – Skip, he's normally money from 3. He normally can get to the rim, finish either hand. But for whatever reason, Skip, these moments like this, now role players normally came up big. You look at the Clippers. They came up big. The Mavericks role players did not come up big in this series. Boban might have been the second best role player they had, and he barely plays in the regular season.
I agree. Okay, so all season long, I sang the praises of my Clippers because I kept telling you, they're not just leading the NBA in free throw percentage, they are setting the all-time team free throw percentage record in the history of the league. They shot 84%. That's the greatest ever. And then, as you point out, yesterday, what do? They go 24 of 24 in Game 7.
100 is better than 84.
24 of 24 in Game 7.
Yeah.
Guess what? That was plus 13 over Dallas at the free throw line. Then what have I told you all year long? In percentage shooting, Utah's a great shooting three-point. This is going to be a three-point shootout.
They're going to break some records in three-point shots.
Okay. But the Clippers led the league in three-point percentage.
Yes.
And what did they do yesterday? They made 20 of 43. That's 47% in a Game 7 at home. Want to talk about clutch?
So they're plus 30 in that mark.
They're plus 30. So free throws plus 3-point, they're plus 43. Well, you're probably going to win the game if you're plus 43, okay? And again, this team showed me guts and heart and true grit and backbone and basketball character I wasn't sure it had. And it did so without the missing link that I thought would be playoff Rondo. Do you realize in game 6 and 7?
Skip, he was bad.
He played 10 minutes and then he played 11 minutes. I'm sorry, 10 minutes and 9 minutes. 10 and 9 in game 6 and 7. And he was 0-4 in game 6. And yesterday he did make 1-3. But slowly but surely he fell out of the rotation. And you can't tell me that after the air ball that Kawhi shot at the end of the game, when they got into it, I'm not sure that didn't put Kawhi a little bit in Ty Lue's doghouse. Or maybe Kawhi didn't like it, that he was getting shown up on the floor.
Put Rondo in the doghouse.
Yeah, put Rondo in the doghouse. That's what I'm saying. I think maybe the guy I thought would be their quarterback has lost his rotation spot to, of all players, Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann is off the bench before he
is.
But Skip, if you watch the game Friday night and last night, Rondo didn't have the ball either. Late in the ball game, it was Kawhi. Kawhi ran the offense.
Okay, but that's what, remember, the weight of the world was hanging on their shoulders because what had they done against Denver? They were up 3 games to 1, and they had leads of 19 and 14 and 12 in the 3 closeout games, and they lost all 3 of them because they did not have a quarterback. They had no true point guard who could organize them and set them up to win the game. But like you said, Kawhi against the zone, he just started playing off the elbow, hit me first in the middle, and then I'll kick it or I'll wheel on somebody.
But Skip, if Kawhi had played like he played these last 3 games last year, it's a moot point. Denver's not advancing anywhere. Kawhi did not play like this, Skip.
He did
not play down the stretch.
Nope.
He could not miss. In the fourth quarters of the last 2 ball games,
possessed.
And if you go back and look at Nicholas Batum. I thought Nicholas Batum was Dominique Wilkins. Nicholas Batum was getting the ball wheeling and going and dunking on people. He tried to dunk on Boban.
He did.
That ain't Nicholas Batum game.
Yeah. He became the glue of this team, and he can defend at a high level. He couldn't defend Luka. Only Kawhi could defend Luka. And I give Kawhi high marks because he sucked it up and reached down and played some defense. You've been accusing him he can't sit in the chair anymore. He sat in it just enough. Now, again, they were blitzing. He had a second
Kawhi take him for like 5 or 6 possessions. Then Paul George would take him. Then Marcus Morris Sr. would take him. Then Terrence Mann would jump on him. Then Batum would jump on him. Rondo would jump on him. And he was like, he's constantly having to compute. Okay, how am I going to attack this guy? How am I going to? They didn't give him a steady diet of anything. And then when the rubber needed to meet the roll in the fourth quarter, they said, you know what? We're going to get this ball at your hands. Hardaway Jr., Finney-Smith, Porzingis, Kleber, you other guys, let's see what you guys can do.
All right, to finish on Reggie Jackson, he drives me crazy. He also drove the Clippers to a Game 7 win. Because he averaged playing 30 minutes a game in this series. He is the starter and the finisher for this team. And every time I think of Reggie Jackson, I think of the greatest game he ever played. I don't know if you remember this. It was the 2014 playoffs when he was in Oklahoma City. And they were at Memphis, and they were down 2 games to 1. So they're about to go down 3 games to 1 as Kevin Durant in this game at Memphis, it was the game 4, he shoots 5 of 21 and 1 of 7 from 3. Russell Westbrook shot 6 of 24 and 1 of 6 from 3. So they combined to go 11 of 45 and 2 of 13 from 3. Meanwhile, Reggie Jackson came off the bench to score 32 points and get them home in overtime when he scored 8 of their 12 points. He is a big-time shooter and scorer. You have to live with him. You have to live with it because he's going to take some bad shots and miss some bad shots.
Well, remember, Skip, they wanted to re-sign Reggie, but Reggie wanted to go be his own guy.
He did.
He said, I can't be this with Russ here. So
Detroit.
He ends up going to Detroit. It was a little bad blood because, Reggie, y'all do y'all thing over here. I need to get over here and do my own thing. He is, Skip. He's a scorer. You have to take the good with the bad. But if he gets hot like he did Friday night, because he kept him in it.
He did.
He kept him in the ball game because nobody else had it really going, and he was after 3 after 3 after 3. And yesterday, Skip, these role players.
Hey, with 1:45 left, Dallas cut it to 7, and I thought, here they go again. And what happened at that moment, if we could see it? Reggie happened.
He did.
And I said, no, don't, please don't. Swish. And I said, thank you, Reggie Jackson. I immediately tweeted, thank you, and thank you, Marcus Morris, because they both can go a little cold, but they also have guts to take big shots and make big shots.
I mean, Marcus Morris yesterday was 7 of 9 from 3, Skip. 7 of 9.
And remember, it was game 6 at Dallas. He made 3 big threes from the far corner.
Yeah. That's Friday night. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Because, listen, that man's got some playoff guts in him. So, again, deep, talented, and finally, they actually lived up to what I think they could be.
Right.
You saw on full display yesterday a team that is highly capable of winning it all.
Right. I think they are. And this helps a lot because being in this situation, Skip, it lets you know you can overcome adversity. But Utah's a different beast because they got a guy that can make plays. Now, for me, Donovan Mitchell is not the caliber player that Luka is, but his surrounding players are better than what Luka possessed. But Donovan can shoot it. Ingles can shoot it.
Okay.
We got Jordan Clarkson.
He's only the 6th man of the year.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. Ingles was runner-up to Jordan Clarkson. And so O'Neal can play defense. He can make the three. And then you got the big stifle tower. Now, you think he's more active than Boban. You're not getting anything in the lane cheap.
No, I think we're going to see more Zubats in this game.
Yeah,
because it'll be more man-on-man, mano a mano.
Right, and we forgot now. We don't see how his hamstring is holding up, but Mike Conley Jr. He's made for these moments. Here's a guy that can run the point, that can make big shots, can get to the lane, can finish with either hand. This is going to be a very interesting series. I'm anxious to see how this thing plays out.
I got Clippers in 6 over the Utah Jazz. You have?
It's a long. You know what, Skip? I think I'm gonna go Utah in 7.
Okay.
Good. I think I'm gonna go Utah in 7.
Good. I like it. That
Clippers
makes me feel
in 6,
better.
Shannon, Utah in 7. All right, that's good to know. I'm just sad that we're done with Baby Bird for now, Shannon. I'm sorry
I miss
for
Baby
you.
Bird.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you for now.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.